Jurassic World, Rebirth, hiring Scarlett Johansson and Oscar winner Mahershala Ali. And sci-fi blockbuster director Gareth Edwards, bringing his Godzilla style to Jurassic World. The result? Unsurprising, not very good. The last Jurassic World ended the series with a massive dinosaur migration, showing how dinosaurs coexist with other creatures on this planet. No, turns out, within 5 years of dinosaur rule, most died, unable to adapt to the modern climate. The only survivors are in high oxygen areas near the equator. The story begins with a pharma exec, Martin. He hires ex-Special Forces mercenary Zora to enter a restricted dinosaur zone. The mission, retrieve live blood samples from the 3 largest dinosaur types for experiments. They recruit biologist Henry Loomis, and Zora's old friend Captain Duncan. Of course, it's a terrible plan. The group quickly finds themselves in danger and must try to survive. The film starts by explaining the world. The story itself has nothing noteworthy. Rebirth's opening scene is similar to Godzilla's. A lab accident decades ago, building tension, human arrogance against nature. It hides what they fear until the end. It makes you anticipate what's next. For a moment, I believed. It seemed to hint at a return to Jurassic Park's focus on atmosphere over spectacle. Unfortunately, such tension is rare in the second half. Most of it is the main characters in dull, expository dialogue. It's not even set up, just endless explanation or confirming character details. A bigger, fatal flaw is that the movie feels like two stitched together. I could enjoy a story of a family trapped on a dinosaur island, or I could enjoy an alien-style story of mercenaries versus dinosaurs. Trying to stitch both stories together leaves both sets of characters underdeveloped, making the whole movie feel messy, or like a deformed, hybrid dinosaur. The irony is recent films seem to meta-comment on their own dilemma. When people lose interest in dinosaurs, in other words, lose interest in Jurassic World, the park management, the studio execs, are forced to add increasingly grotesque, artificial elements to what we loved, just to spark a tiny bit of audience interest. At this point, I thought I was having a nightmare like in Jurassic Park 3. Back to the movie. If you remember, some disliked Godzilla because he had too little screen time. But I personally admire that film's approach. It built tension, made us care about the characters, and teased the audience with silhouettes or parts of Godzilla. And when Godzilla finally appeared, the effect was far more powerful than the cheap gratification in later films. But in Jurassic World, Rebirth, the first half doesn't build tension, and it doesn't make us care about the characters. We learn a bit about Zora and Duncan's backstory, but the scene feels obligatory. They just sit down solemnly and start reminiscing. And this backstory is barely integrated into their actions and dialogue later. Luckily, Zora isn't just a stereotypical tough female character. We see her vulnerability and self-doubt. She isn't always sure what to do next. But that's likely thanks to Scarlett Johansson's skill. The script doesn't give her much to work with, but she has more charisma than Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard combined. Mahershala Ali also uses his charm to save a thin character. The other lead, the Doctor, he's more of a plot device, constantly explaining dinosaur behavior and needing to be rescued. And Rupert Friend's Martin is theoretically the villain. I should hate this character, but emotionally, it's hard to care if he lives or dies. And don't get me started on the family that appears mid-film. A man takes his 2 daughters and the older one's bratty boyfriend on a boat trip, and they just have to enter a clearly restricted area. These characters constantly interrupt the narrative rhythm. The simple story of getting 3 dinosaur blood samples becomes a stop-and-go mess because we keep cutting to this family's survival. The older daughter's boyfriend is supposed to be comic relief, but he's just annoying most of the time, spouting nonsense, lazy, and completely unable to read the room. I've said before that flaws make characters more compelling, but this is beyond flawed. He's just deliberately written to be unlikable. Although the film tries to add some depth to him later, it's too little, too late. I understand the purpose of this family. After all, having kids in a Jurassic movie is a tradition, but recent films seem to have forgotten why this tradition exists. The kids in Jurassic Park were there to complement the protagonist's story and motivate his growth. In the first film, Drive, Alan Grant originally hated kids. The movie is about him gradually seeing their good qualities on another level. He was a man stuck in the past, only caring about long-dead dinosaurs. The kids symbolized the future. After a life-or-death adventure with them, Alan finally learned the value of living in the present and looking to the future, not clinging to a bygone past. Jurassic World told a similar story with a career-focused heroine saving her nephews. At least the first one did it effectively, but the kids in recent movies are just more hunting targets for the dinosaurs, especially in this one. But at least regarding the dinosaur effects people came to see, Jurassic World, Rebirth is somewhat decent. The strong light and shadow contrast in some scenes is reminiscent of Jurassic Park. I know that's high praise, but visual tension is Gareth Edwards' specialty. He uses his giant monster movie methods to present these dinosaurs. Often, we don't see their full form. We rely on glimpses and body parts to imagine their majesty and terror. And when the dinosaurs are fully revealed, the contrast with humans creates a humbling sense of scale. The T-Rex chase is honestly the best in 20 years. The genetically mixed dinosaurs in the second half truly feel like monsters not of this world. This movie didn't make us care about the characters. These spectacular, nail-biting scenes become somewhat flat. We know who will die, who won't, and who will make a sacrifice. Survival is a basic drive for all creatures, but when a story is only about survival, it's a click. Although Jurassic World, Rebirth tries some new things, it's not a rebirth for the series. It's more like another genetic variant from the movie. Of course, if you really love dinosaurs, this film still delivers what audiences want to see. Let's just hope the next Jurassic film can pull this series out.